everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day when you can be anywhere else. You are here. I promise to always bring on the best guests here on Minding My Business, where we're here to elevate our business, our mindset, and our life. I have a powerhouse guest coming on. All right. She's on, legendary queen. Oh man, I met this woman at a conference. Powerhouse, you guys. Like, do not sleep on this today. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
You guys, this is Jessie Lee Ward, aka Boss Lee, the boss. All right. She's a leader, a coach. She's the people's mentor, a global entrepreneur and speaker, and an investor. And she's made over $100 million in sales. Like, what? Congratulations on all these accomplishments.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So this is Minding My Business. It's a platform to help other people elevate their business, their mindset, and their life. And also to celebrate you, you know, because you deserve to be celebrated and you support so many people. And so did I miss anything in the intro that you want other people to know about you?
No, I don't care. I think it's more beneficial if people aren't just on, not that you did this, but I think a lot of times people brag about a lot of accolades and stuff like that, and then they have nothing of value to actually coach on. So
yeah, well, we start with your highlights, and then I like to really get in the mindset of the becoming. And so I guess I'll just start with this question. I'm curious about it. I'm sure other people are curious about it. For those of you who might be just introduced to you, new to your platform, because I'm new to you. I just met you a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And before you even spoke, I just felt your energy, your power, your strength, like everything about you. So I guess my question is, out of curiosity, what led you into the line of work that you do today? Like, what was that one thing that got you into the MLM business as an entrepreneur, speaker, investor, all this stuff?
Yeah, I think like the only accurate answer to that is a really bad childhood. So I wish more people would stop looking at their, I guess, insufficiencies as things that are holding them back, and would look at them as things that are going to push them forward. And so I had a really bad childhood. I saw what money can do for people in a good way, not in a negative way. And I was sick of watching every adult that was in my actual sphere at the time struggle, and think that that was the only option, or that the only thing that you're going to do is you're going to continue to struggle and struggle and struggle, and then have a generational curse. I kept hearing that as a kid, like, when, if you grow up in poverty, you die in poverty, and so that pushed me to understand that a job is probably not for me from a really young age, that working for somebody else really probably wasn't going to work. And then it was like little things, like I made a vegetable stand when I was 5 years old or something like that, and saw you could make money. I sold Girl Scout cookies, of course, like I guess all little girls probably do. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed going up to strangers and, like sold the, what is it called? Wrapping paper, stuff like that. And I understood the value of a dollar at a young age. And I also understood that from a very young age, my first job was when I was 13. I understood from a young age that jobs aren't going to pay you what you're worth. And so I was 13, selling ice cream in an ice cream shop, making like $5 an hour or something terrible, right? And I put out a tip jar. I'm like, I'm worth more than $5 a flipping hour. Like, this is terrible. And so it just kind of put me on this entrepreneurial path, that there's more to life than just fitting inside this little box that everybody tells you you're supposed to fit in. So yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe that.
I mean, I think it's great too, because some people could go the other direction, because you mentioned a key word, and like worth, right? And I'm sure you can tell this because you're also a coach. You're not just a powerhouse in what you do, but you also, give back, you serve people, you coach people, you want to get them on the other side. But when you mention the word worth, at a young age, you said 13 years old, some people, because of the destruction of their childhood, could go the opposite route. How are you able to build yourself up in that aspect of self-worth? Because I feel like it's a huge key component to reaching really high levels in business and in life.
So, okay, I'm just writing it down so I answer your question. You really do get two options in anything. It's like you could have two two twins that are growing up in the exact same situation with a parent that's an alcoholic, and one of the kids ends up being an alcoholic and the other ends up changing the world. And you could ask both kids when they're, adults, well, why are you an alcoholic? Well, I'm an alcoholic because that's how I was raised. And then you'll talk to the person, the other twin, same upbringing, same whatever. Well, why are you so successful? Well, because my parents were alcoholics. So you can take everything and you can look at it from the perspective of, I get to change this or I get to choose this, instead of putting yourself in this, like in that box, like you said. The worthiness, though, comes from proving to yourself who you are. And not enough people understand that. Not enough people understand if you want to see yourself as more valuable, then you give more value, you educate yourself, you start viewing yourself as somebody who has value to give or, worth to give. And then it's the same conversation around confidence. You'll be a more confident person if, quite frankly, you would start doing what you say you're going to do. Too many people set goals that are way out here, like way out there. I'm going to make $1 million this year. Well, it sounds great, but quite frankly, like why don't you start at, hey, I'm going to make, 50,000 this year. It's going to be a big jump from making 30, because 30 to 50 is a big freaking jump. Or it could be in fitness. People ask me all the time, how do you transform your body into looking the way you want it to? Well, it's not by some quantum leap of, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. No, it's like tomorrow I'm going to eat breakfast properly, which is not bagels with cream cheese and a bunch of, whatever the hell, muffins and crap that people eat. And so you change that, and then you change another little habit, and then next thing you know, you're kind of like, wow. And I'm not here to preach and say that, everything I do and say I'm the most confident person in the world, or I don't have things where I feel sometimes sort of out of, not out of place or anything like that, but sort of, oof, okay, this is a big stage, or oof, okay, this is a big deal, or oof, I'm going to launch something really big, or wow, if I recruit a $1 million earner from another company or something like that, I do have those moments where holy crap, that person literally chose me. I mean, I still have those moments. It's just proving to yourself every day, making yourself proud every day. That will change the way you look at yourself. And it's ultimately about how you look at yourself, not how other people look at yourself, that you can change the way you view your own worthiness.
You literally pivoted into my next question, because I was like, oh, I'm trying to channel into asking you these because we want to know, the core, and there's so many questions asked, but I want to make sure that we get into the mental side of it too.
Yeah, sure.
So this question is really big, and I ask myself all the time when I'm trying to scale myself to the next level, because we get to a level and then we always want more. I mean, we're designed as human beings to create more. And so who did you have to become, and what did you have to overcome in order to become who you are today?
Okay. All right. So, I mean, you crushed that. Not enough people talk about that in the sense of it is the human condition to want more. Okay. And for some reason, we live in a society where people, I talk about this a lot on my platform, but people demonize hard work first and foremost, which makes no sense to me. It's like there's a current demonization in society of, oh, the hustle culture is dead. Well, you can kill hustle culture once you're out of the stage of hustling. And if you're not out of the stage of hustling yet, stop killing off hustle culture. You need to hustle to have the pretty things. And pretty can be whatever it is for anybody, right? Mm-hmm. You need to hustle to get yourself on stages. You need to hustle to get your clientele. You do need to hustle to put your social media content out. You do need to hustle and get in front of the right rooms and go to networking events and ABCDEFG. Hustle culture should not be dead if you are currently in a struggle culture, okay? So, but this idea of always wanting more, not enough people either believe it or understand it. Okay. But if you have that calling on your heart and you're letting these people that are small-minded tell you, oh, you're greedy, or, oh, you want too much, or, oh, you're so full of this, or, why don't you need should really be the actual question. Why don't you need more? Why don't you deserve more? Why shouldn't more people live in abundance? Why do you live on planet Earth in 2022 with a cell phone connection, a Wi-Fi connection, a access to a computer, access to whatever, and still struggle? That should be the question. And it has nothing to do with anything that you have resources with. It's something in your mind. There's something in your mind holding you back, or you're allowing, or you're allowing people to hold you back. So who do you have to become? You, but a better version of you. Okay. Too many people try to copy people. And the problem with copying people is that you are being some kind of weird, diluted version of whoever your mentor is. Now, I will say, and I think I said this on stage in Miami, you might have heard me say this, but you have to find your voice. Okay. And so not enough people put out enough content at all. And then they don't know why they're not good on stages. Or they don't know why they're not confident. Or they don't know why they can't figure out what their brand is. Or they don't know how to do a reel or a TikTok or a poll. Like, it's because you are not using your voice. And for the first couple of years, all I sounded like was my mentors. Okay. It was very obvious. If you look back at my live videos and you listen to everything, it's very obvious to me, at least. I don't know if it's obvious to everybody else, which again is another important thing. It sounds weird to you, but it will sound good to you once you get used to this, right? But I used to sound to me like Jim Rohn. I used to sound to me like Zig Ziglar. I used to use the same inflections, like I said about Jim. I used to sound a lot like Eric Worre. And I was just really learning and growing and learning the mechanisms of speaking. And I was finding out what my voice is. And I was finding out what my beliefs are. And I was letting all these different ideas in my mind and then regurgitating them and seeing how they felt. And by doing that, after a couple of years of this, or maybe not even a couple of years, didn't take that long. It's more like the consistency of doing it over and over again. You start to hear your own voice. So you become a different version of yourself. You step into a more powerful version of yourself. You look at yourself differently because you're talking differently. You're walking differently. And then you start having a different posture about you, but it's still you. And so then you have this authenticity with this brain power, and that's how you become, right? That's how you become, but it's really you. Okay, so if more people would start looking at who do I want to be in the future, and I do an exercise with people that I coach all the time, not all the time, I haven't done it probably in 6 months, but if you were to close your eyes, and it's like a 10-minute thing, so I won't take the whole time right now or anything, Tanya, but it's
I know that your team told me, like, she's got to be off at, like, quarter to. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We have plenty of time. But like, if you would close your eyes and think of the most elite version of yourself, right? I mean, down to this, like, what color is your toenail polish? Okay, what do your legs look like? Are they shaved? Are they muscular? You know, if you were to visualize the most successful, happy, perfect in your future version of yourself, what does he or she look like? And if you go there for a minute, you start to reverse engineer your mind. Okay, well, I'm not doing a lot right, because the most elite version of myself does not have this body. Okay, the most elite version of myself does not wear clothes like that. The most elite version of myself, my hair, I would never. The most elite version of myself, I do not feed myself those foods. The most elite version of myself, I do not talk like that. I do not walk like that. I do not hang out with these friends. I have different groups of people around me. I go to a lot of events. I'm visualizing who I am. But it's still you. You're actually visualizing you. What do you look like? What is the power you're stepping into? And it's a different thing, because I want you to become the best version of you. And then what do you have to overcome? I hope you're ready for the struggle. Okay. And I don't mean you necessarily, but anybody listening to this, you don't become without overcoming. So what are those things that are going to come in your place? And the hardest part for a lot of people is they think they know what to expect with struggle. They think they know what's coming. They think they know, oh, you know, somebody's gonna betray me. I'm gonna have my personal Judas, and you know, somebody's gonna, I might lose some money. This might fall apart, or I might lose a leg of business if you do network marketing, or you know, I might go bankrupt. You might think of a couple of things here and there, but I'm here to tell you, there's a lot more coming. There's a lot to overcome. Today, this morning, if my energy was a little weird right at the beginning, I came straight from the bank. I found out my salon manager has embezzled over $100,000 in the last year from me. So, and I feel very grateful and blessed, because quite frankly, to be in a position where I don't even notice that $100,000 goes missing is pretty incredible, right? Like, thank God, I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
My point being, now I'm overcoming. Now we're shifting all kinds of stuff in the middle of overcoming the accelerator program, not working with that marketing team, rebuilding the entire thing to become, you know, this next level coach that I'm putting out these programs. You know, it's like you think you know what's coming. I couldn't have expected a lot of the betrayals that have happened to me. No way. Okay, I could not have expected some of the people that I've let in my life, almost as close as family, betray me the way they did, because they weren't good enough to be on the same stages. Well, anybody can be as good on the same stages, but you have not overcome the struggles and the pain and the lessons of life that I have. So I love the comments right now. She'll go to jail. It's no problem. Found out she already has a record, not for this, but for something else. So this should be no problem. No problem. It's just, you know, look, here's the thing. I look at it like this. And anything. So I just shared this one struggle today that's happening, if you will, that I have to overcome. Anytime, everyone needs to write this down. Anytime you are in the middle of a struggle, it is an opportunity for you to level up. There is something you are learning. There are lessons and lessons and lessons and lessons inside of it. I've had a lot. You know, I mean, I've had to sue people. I've been sued. That's part of business. I had a mentor one time who said, if you haven't been sued in business yet, you're just not successful enough yet. I'm like, whoa, holy smokes. Like, Wow. Okay, I guess I'm making it, man. But my whole point in this is the lessons that I'm learning from this. What is the next level of Jessie Lee? Because it's coming. Because now I get to learn how you go through pressing charges in an embezzlement lawsuit, or not lawsuit, not even lawsuit. I gotta call the cops. You know, I gotta call the police. This is new for me. So what lessons do I learn through this? Who ends up coming into my life because of this? Who watches and goes, hey, I have expert, advice on this because I had to do the same thing. Who comes in your life when stuff like this happens? And so if you want to become the next level of yourself, I'm heeding a warning to you. It's not easy. And there's a reason people go, oh, there's a 1%. Of course there's the 1%. Don't be silly. Okay? There's a 1% in everything. But those people that got to the 1%, every time they were hit, because trust me, they were hit, they got back up. That's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. You got hit, you fell down, you never got up again. I got smacked in the face, I got punched in the neck, I got whatever you want to call it, my legs broken like that. You know, your name's Tanya too. So that Tanya girl, whatever her name was, who like chopped that, whatever, all that. And I said, okay, put me in a booth.
I got a lot of heat for that. And when I was like in grade school, I'm like, that's not me.
I forget her name, but you know what I'm talking about, Tanya. It's like, I'm getting back up. You know, I'm getting back up. And so that's going to be the difference. So I love, I think I rambled quite a bit on that. But
no, but I think you made some great points because I actually, like, I prep questions, but I love these to be very conversational because I really want us to be present. And these are the conversations I want to have on the show. And this actually is a big question because when I was understanding my own self-sabotage and overcoming addictions and stuff like that and learning how to get on my own team versus becoming my greatest liability, is that I was afraid of success because I didn't think I could handle the responsibilities that came with it. And what I realized is a lot of people subconsciously fear success. So what is your take on that? Because you practically were just talking about that, except you embrace it. You're like, bring it on, baby.
I really love that get on your own team thing. That I hope everybody wrote that down because if you're not your own biggest fan, you're going to have a very hard time finding people who want to be your fan. And so you don't have to be the most confident, but you do need to show up every day. Okay. And even on the days when you feel like everything is tumbling all around you and you're falling apart, who is the captain of your team? It's you. You know, it has to be you. There's no other option. And so the fear of success is real. But I also think it's become really, who was the quote from? There's a quote that I think it's Brene Brown. She's like, I don't fear failure. I feel you don't feel failure. You feel that you are wildly powerful or something like that, or
I think
whatever it is.
That's Marianne Williamson, is that you are powerful beyond measure. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's something like that. Like you don't fear success, you fear that you're wildly powerful beyond measure or something. And I think I think it's true. I think there are people, probably yourself included, like you said, that is your real fear. You really do fear success in some capacities. But I also think that a lot of people like to use that as a crutch and an excuse. Okay, so they go, oh no, I fear success. Well, like, boo. I think you fear hard work, not you. Okay, I'm not using you as this example, but I don't think a lot of people actually fear the success. They actually fear the hard work, and rightfully so. Because I just warned you 10 minutes ago, you're going to be overcoming all kinds of stuff that you do not expect. It is not fun.
Yeah.
Success is worth it. And so, but there is a real fear of success for some people. What I actually have noticed, and maybe this will give some clarity to some people, and I noticed that this past weekend, and I've noticed it a couple of times before. I'm not going to tell you like what I did this weekend, but there was something I did that was a fear that I conquered, and it's a fear from my childhood, because my whole childhood, by the way, most of you have been lied to your entire lives. Almost everything that you learned as a child is a big bucket of lies, okay? All your self-limiting beliefs from your parents or the people that babysat you or your teachers even. Scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. It's all books of lies, lies, lies. So really make sure... Yes. I mean, that's a big thing to overcome, is all these lies you've been told. I mean, it's unbelievable what everyone has told you. So you really gotta experience the world, because I'm telling you. So anyway, I did something this weekend, and right before I did it, I stopped for a second and I was actually fearful, you know, because I've had this, I won't go into the whole thing. It's way too much. And if I start saying stuff, it's way too much for your, I mean, I don't know. But I am such a good girl. Like, I don't know how to explain this, okay? I'm such a good girl. And my whole everything. I mean, I was the girl that didn't drink, no drugs, no sneaking out. You know, my mom told everyone I was a terrible child, but really the worst thing I ever did all through high school was I would sneak out to go to a coffee shop. That was it. Like, I was not a bad kid, but I was told I was a bad kid, okay? Totally, you know, different thing. But my whole point behind this is I was about to face the fear, and I had that moment in my head. And this could be anything. I'll use a couple more examples, but like I said, this just happened 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, Jessie Lee, every time you have faced fear in the past, on the other side has been something beautiful. Why would this be any different? And I sat there and I had a conversation in my head. I wish more of you would stop for a second and just have the conversation in your head. Talk to yourself before you do something, before you count yourself out of something. And so I did, and I had this beautiful flipping experience, and I got out of it. And the next morning I was like, I just need to stop for a second and say, that was so flipping beautiful. I'm having like a whole moment. I'm so happy I did that. And when right before I did it, I thought to myself about when I was just in Austria in August. And in Austria, I climbed the literal face of a mountain. Okay? I mean, you have two options. You finish or you die. And I know that sounds very crazy, but that's it. You get two options. You finish the climb or you die. Because you can't go backwards.
You can apply that to everything.
Sure, but this one you actually die, not like kind of, literally death. Okay, so in my head, I'm terrified. I'm buckling up. I'm putting the gloves on. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? This is crazy. This is you. And then when I got to the top, I'm thinking, this is the most beautiful experience of my flipping life. And I remember skydiving in Dubai for the first time. And the whole time, why would I jump out of a perfectly good airplane? That is stupid. Of course I'm fearful. What if my parents, what if, stop letting your whole life be dictated by what ifs. I jumped out of the airplane. And I don't know why nobody tells you guys this, but it is the most peaceful, beautiful experience you will probably ever experience. There is you don't feel like you're falling. Why does nobody talk about that?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to feel like I'm in free fall, my stomach and my throat, whatever. That doesn't happen when you skydive. Why does nobody tell you that? And the whole time I'm mesmerized by the beauty. I'm looking over Dubai. Oh my God. This is me, Scott. My photos, I'm just smiling like, yeah. I mean, but it doesn't have to be skydiving. It doesn't have to be climbing mountains. It doesn't have to be some kind of big physical feat. But what are the things you keep fearing? What are the things you keep on fearing over and over and over again, and it's stopping you from becoming who you are supposed to be? So whatever it is that's causing this, you've got to stop and just take the baby steps towards it. But you allowing other people to tell you how to live your life or what you should be scared of or how successful you should be or whatever else needs to stop. The self-sabotage has got to stop.
Hey, it's Tanya. I'm calling a quick timeout intermission huddle, so bring it in. I'm personally inviting you to our inner circle. It's our monthly VIP meetup with other achievers just like us. Each week, I'm teaching everything you're going to need in order to be successful, to step into the most elite version of yourself. I'm going to break this down play by play, the tools, the systems, the strategies, everything you're going to need in order to operate at higher levels mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically. Look, we're in a season where the idea of full potential just isn't cutting it anymore. It's time to really be it now. So click the link in the show notes and I'll see you in the inner circle. Peace.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, you just are such an elite human being. I am so excited about you. You don't understand, because when you come across somebody that operates how you operate, because there's a lot of work behind this. There's a lot of work behind you showing up every single day when you don't feel like it. Or if you're going through something personal, but you still have to show up for others and execute. And a lot of people would use their circumstances as excuses to not show up and execute. But at the end of the day, nobody cares what's going on in our personal lives. They just want to make sure that we can get the job done. And so my question to you with that being said is do you have any daily habits or routines that are just non-negotiables for you to keep you operating at elite levels of the levels that you operate in?
My entire life.
But I know exercise is one for you. Like I know you're active. You take a lot of care into like your exercising. From what I see, I don't know. I was scrolling through your thing. All right, she definitely works out.
Yeah.
You know, you got a beautiful body.
Thank you. Yeah, it's everything. I think that the freedom is in the discipline. So if you are not disciplined, I was told something maybe 11, 12 years ago, and it was by a coach of mine, and she said, if you show me your calendar, I can predict your success. And I remember hearing that and thinking to myself, oh hell, I hope the next question isn't Jessie Lee, show me your calendar, because it was full of white spaces. And I thought that meant that everything had to be appointments and everything had to be, bookings or phone calls or all this stuff. I thought that's what she meant by it. That's not what she meant. She meant, it's idle time is the devil's playground, basically, right? And so I remember hearing that and thinking, okay, well then I need to figure out what I need in my life to become an elite, like you said, version of myself. And so every day I wake up at the same time and I do things. So it's 6 a.m. But every day at 6 a.m. my alarm goes off all the way in my kitchen. Okay, so the Alexa in the kitchen goes off, and I'm a light sleeper, so there's no option. And even if that wasn't going to go off, I've got, my 2 puppuccinos. So no matter what, we're getting up, we're moving our bodies, we're going on a walk. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. It just has to happen. But on the walk, I always prioritize personal development. And this is in every single day, in every single way. If I'm not growing, I'm dying. And so if I'm not learning something, I feel like a sloth. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like a freaking loser if I'm not learning something new. I get frustrated with myself if I'm not educating myself. It doesn't have to be anything miraculous, just a different viewpoint sometimes, or the way somebody else does something, or it doesn't matter, just some kind of perspective on anything. And so the dog walk every single morning, bright and early, but every day I got the AirPods in. Still outside, people go, how you still tan from these vacations? It's simple. I walk in the mornings when the sun's coming up with no shirt on usually. So I'm trying to keep this tan going, we'll see how long it lasts for, because it's getting a little chilly in Texas now. We were 69 this morning on this walk, and it was not it for me. I was not happy about it, but at any rate, the dogs were happy. So that's an hour. So an hour every single day that I am in first thing in my mind once I wake up. I'm with the kids, I'm moving my body, I'm getting my mind right, I'm in the right mindset, I'm drinking the water, I'm doing all this stuff. By the time I get back in, it's just into the routine of supplements that I take, getting the dogs fed, and then it's off to the gym every single day. Every day. And I don't care what you guys do. I'm not telling you at the gym every day you need to lift a bunch of weights or you need to do, a bunch of sprints. I don't even do sprints, okay? I think I'm allergic to crazy cardio like that. Actually, it's
yes, I knew we were in alignment. I said the only time I'm running is if I'm either running late, which I don't, or if I see a snake. That's it. That's the only time you catch me run or sprint.
Well, it's actually not awesome for women to sprint because it spikes your cortisol levels.
Yeah.
Holding on to a lot of inflammation. People are like, what are you doing differently? I'm like, okay, it's a lot. But one of the main things is I stopped running. I really stopped running. And then I just figured out what inflammatory foods I have. But I eat at the same times every day. Okay, unless all of a sudden I'm randomly hungry and then I'll eat, which doesn't really happen because I'm on a pretty strict schedule. And I always have the same meetings. I always have this. I have planned time to rest. So I'm not telling you guys need to burn out or you need to work 100 hours a day, which obviously is impossible, but you can have still time, but make it planned still time. Don't just waste time. And so for me, it's stuff like, Wookie, I don't know if you saw me moving and it looked weird or anything, but Wookie came over to say hi. Now she's sleeping next to me. So they're very needy animals, they're mine. They take after them.
I loved your post you did too. You're like, he's the boss, move out the way. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, this girl runs a household, let me tell you what. But there's planned time for them every day. I walk my dogs 3 times a day, and they have 3 dog walkers. So these are the most spoiled pups in the world. But every single thing is planned. Every single thing is scheduled, and that includes personal time. And I am big on outsourcing. I don't know who needs to hear this because I know I'm a bit, I'm very much a top performer. And I had a phone call today every Tuesday with my accountability partner. And we got on the phone today, and he said, I tried something the other day and I was writing down, what's the difference? I don't know who needs to hear this. I just thought it was really powerful. He said, I've been asking myself, and I sat there for 45 minutes. I couldn't come up with anything. What's the difference between having $10 million and $20 million? And I said, well, what did you write down? I said, I wrote down nothing. I said, really? I said, I can tell you the difference. I said, and I guess I should do it with, what's the difference between 30 million and 50 million, or 30 million and 100 million? I said, but I can tell you what the difference is. I said, you start to it's not what you can buy. Again, I don't know who needs to hear this. It has nothing to do with what you can buy, because you're pretty much going to buy the same stuff at $10 million as you are at $20 million, okay? You can get any car you want. You can fly private if you want to. Quite frankly, you can afford a plane if you really want to. You can buy all of the designer that you could possibly want. You can take all the trips that you possibly want. You can eat every single day at every single restaurant and do whatever you want, okay? All of that is possible at 10 million as it is at 20 million. There's no difference. I said the big difference for me from 10 to 20, if I can think about it, which I started thinking about it to brainstorm with him, I said, is I started spending money on outsourcing more than I ever did before, and I didn't think about it. I started putting way more people on salary. I started saying, what can I take out of my life? I don't know who needs to hear this. What can I take out of my life to scale my life? Because I started realizing I did not have a personal life. And most of you on here, if you are successful and already achieving, you may be noticing you lack a personal life. So, or maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe this is unique to me, but the forever single girl who, is just flying everywhere and doing everything. And no, I can't go out. I really punted my 20s. I didn't work at all in my 20s. I talk about that a lot. Or I did not go out at all in my 20s. You can't find a photo of me out. I didn't have a drink of alcohol for 11 years. I said, no, because I knew what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go. And that's why I am where I am right now at 33. I say that to say, now it's like, no, I literally don't work past right around 6 p.m. ever. There might be a couple of calls that I'll take, but for the most part, I'm like, all right, it's date night as always. If I want to go out on a date every single night, I could go out every single night. If I want to go to a game, I live in Dallas, I live in Frisco. So, if there's a Rangers game, or if there's a Stars game, or if there's a Cowboys game, or if there's whatever, I can always say yes. I was about to rent a boat the other day on Labor Day, and then it stormed, so I couldn't do that. But in the past, the answer would have been no. And so I said, but you know what the cool thing is? I had like 35 staff members still working. That's my point saying all this. So even if I'm enjoying my actual life, I've got people doing the work. And so you can scale by doing that, but the discipline is the freedom. And there's too many people who want to have a lot of success and they're not willing to do what it takes. And if you would be willing to do what it takes, you might find out that life is pretty freaking amazing.
And all these diamonds you're dropping on us. Actually, oh my gosh, okay. Let me make sure I ask the critical ones. They're all so important questions, but this actually kind of flows with what you're saying about pivoting, because you're talking also about pivoting. It's just another way of how you're saying it. When you're ready to, whether scale your business or your body or your bank account or whatever, your mindset, there's a pivotal point. And whenever you're, because you're the type of person, just human being, regardless, woman, obviously not, but any gender, regardless, you're an elite human being, first and foremost, the way that your mind operates, the way that you move, of what you've achieved. And so when you are setting a new target in your life, because I'm sure you have some right now, right? You got some big targets that you're yeah.
Always.
So when you're pivoting from where you are to where you want to go, and there's a space that a lot of people don't talk about that we go through. You did mention a few times about the fear and then how you handle the fear. But whenever you're in a space of maybe a bigger growth that scares you, or expansion, and you start to doubt yourself, what type of tools do you use to help you push through it?
Okay, so always setting goals. Okay, so that goes back to your question about the wanting more out of your life. Once you achieve something, I like to look at life as a marathon of sprints. I don't know who said that originally. When I heard it, I freaking loved it. So yeah. I will sprint, I will hit a goal, I will go, whew, okay, we did that. And I will reward myself, with a cup of Gatorade. I'm not kidding, it's not Gatorade. But you know what I mean? I'll reward myself. Maybe it's a gift I wanted to get myself, or a trip I wanted to take, or whatever. But as soon as I'm done catching my breath, so to speak, that's just an example, then I go. You know, then I go again. Then it's where's the next bar? Where's the next bar? Where's the next bar? I kind of like to be the Roger Bannister, especially for women in the business world. It's not even about network marketing. It's like, okay, so a woman's never done this. Well, then let me do it. You know, I'm swinging with the big boys. Somebody messaged me or interviewed me the other day and said, all these male blue checks follow you. I said, no crap. Okay, because I'm better than most of them. You know, like I'm just saying, you know, humbly, let me just go ahead and throw it out there, and they know it. They know it. And I love when I get on the stages with these men, because a lot of men will come up to me afterwards and go, I literally have seen you, but I've never watched anything of yours because I never thought I could get anything out of a female coach. You're better than a lot of these men. I'm like, baby, I've known. Welcome to the party. Hit follow. Let's go. But anyway, I'm always setting these goals. I'm always setting these targets. I'm always stretching and achieving and trying to do more. And I wish more people would do that. I think a lot of people hit a goal and go, oh, I've never done that before. That was crazy. You know, I'm just going to sit here for a while and enjoy this. I don't ever feel that. I don't feel like I've made it. I don't feel like I'm not stupid. I know I'm successful, but I'm nowhere near as successful as I should be. I'm nowhere near as successful as I will be. And so that goes for everybody. I'm just using myself as an example because I can only speak for me. But you either pivot or you perish, to answer this. You either pivot or you perish. And so I'm constantly trying to be, you know, a million miles ahead. And that might sound crazy to some people, but I saw Facebook was acting a little like funny maybe 18 months ago. I don't know if anyone else can relate. What is going on with Facebook groups? What is going on with all these community warnings? What is going on with all these account warnings? What is going on with all these, you know, Facebook jail? People have been joking around about Facebook jail for 2 years. And so I said, we've got to come up with another system. And so I end up, you know, I have nothing to pitch you. This is not a pitch. I connected with 2 people. I said, let's start a software company. They're like, huh? I'm like, a software company. Let's close customers faster. Let's create a whole system where we'll test it with our team first. We'll make a whole bunch of money off of their sales, right? We'll make tons of money. We'll simplify it. We won't have to use Facebook anymore. And then we'll be able to roll it out for people. And all of these people will have no idea what they're doing. And they're going to freak out because Facebook's going to shut them down. And I'm going to be like, hey, hi, I already have the solution. I thought about that 3 years ago. Like, I'm constantly out there just saying, well, what's next? What's next? Moving into the future instead of living right here. And if you start doing that in your life, in everything, you'll be ahead of the game. I partnered with a ketone company because everyone thought ketones were fake. Well, I love this. I'm already 10 moves ahead of you. You know, it's like I'm already way ahead in biohacking than you are. You'll catch up in 10 years, but I'm already 10 years ahead at that point. So I've always got this mentality around scaling and growing and what's next. And so the doubting yourself, how do you get through that? Look, first of all, I will doubt myself potentially for about 30 seconds. Okay. I will throw a pity party for myself for max 30 seconds. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not smart enough. There are solutions everywhere. The first thing I wish more people would do is use Google. It is really crazy. Okay. People and their lack of Googling things. I like solution-oriented people. I don't like to work with people who, where's the, what are you talking about? What do you mean, what sales books? Google. And I know that sounds kind of sassy, but nobody told me I needed to Google sales books when I didn't know how to sell. I knew I didn't know how to sell. Nobody needed to tell me Google recruiting books when I didn't know how to recruit. Nobody needed to tell me to Google business coaches. I said, oh God, I clearly need a business coach. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I knew my life was going crazy. I need a freaking life coach. Somebody help me, Jesus. Okay. I mean, be resourceful. So I'll give myself a 30-second pity party and then I'll start reaching out to some people. That's what I do. I try to grow. I try to scale. I try to get better. And I'm constantly surrounding myself. Here's the tool. Get around better people. If you spend more time around better people, you will become better. Most people, I talked about this yesterday, but most people, you are hanging out with people that fit your past, and yet you claim to be wanting to move towards your future. See, that doesn't make sense to me. You cannot grow with people who don't want to grow. These people are over here and they want to grow with you and they want to expand with you and they want to bring abundance into your life and skill sets into your life. And meanwhile, you're over here pacifying people whose mindset is that of you when you were 18 years old. Well, you can't grow. You cannot if you're constantly being weighted down and pulled by relationships that haven't served you for God knows how long. And so the best thing I could say, tools, get a coach. Get a coach in whatever. Get a life coach. Get a business coach. Get a health coach. Get a wealth coach. You need coaches in everything. Yeah. A lot of you are spending so much time trying to figure stuff out that somebody has already figured out leap years, light years ahead of you. If somebody is way ahead, you know, and ask for credentials. Don't just take somebody's blind advice. If somebody's on the internet giving you advice on something, especially Instagram, a lot of fake coaches all over the place, right? That's crazy. We ask, well, tell me, you know, what do you do? What is your success rate? What, well, are you sure? Because if you ask me, yeah, I'm sure I know what the heck I'm talking about. And I kind of climb into these little time machines with coaches. You know, okay, I'm in my little time machine. I've got these issues. Vroom, I'm moving forward 3 years in 30 minutes.
Yeah, fast.
Meanwhile, oh, I don't have money for that. You don't not have money for that.
You don't have time, not money. You seem to be very awake and aware though. Like you're very intentional. Like you move intentionally. You're a very intentional person. And I feel like intention requires being present. Do you feel like you're present? Like, because you have, in order to catch those type of things, you got to like be present and pay attention as much as you are a visionary, because you're for sure a visionary. That like no hands down on that one.
So easiest answer is if you want to sell more, if you want to be more successful, get better at listening. A lot of people are very bad at listening. And if you listen, people will tell you everything you need to know. Too many people are focused on they're living in la la land. They ask you a question. I mean, for everyone watching, you know, you can tell me if I'm wrong or right, but how many times have you asked somebody what their name is and they tell you and you didn't even listen? And then you go, oh God, they just said what their name was and I wasn't even listening. Do I ask again? No, I'm just going to pretend I know what it is. Maybe I'll ask for their Instagram so then I can find out what their name is. Maybe I can see if I can find them on Facebook. I'm constantly listening. I'm always paying attention. I'm watching your body language. I'm watching the way your eyes shift around. I'm watching the way your hands move. I'm watching if you're looking in my eyes. I'm paying so much attention. My love language is not what a lot of people think it is. It's quality time. So I am super present. If I'm with you, I am with you. I am listening to you. I am paying attention to you. And I don't do it to be manipulative or anything like that. I'm genuinely curious. And then people go, oh my gosh, I met Jessie Lee XYZ years ago and she never forgot me. Oh my gosh, how do you remember that? Well, I remember it because you told me. People tell you what they care about. People tell you what's important to them. It's the same thing with recruiting. If there's any network marketers listening, people go, how do you recruit so many people? Because they told me exactly what they needed. They told me exactly how many kids they have. They told me exactly what their struggle is. They told me exactly that their marriage is freaking out because of money. They told me exactly why they need to hit a $10,000 bonus. They told me exactly what kind of car they need to drive because their kids play exactly what sports the kids play. They told me everything. They told me about the debt because their mom passed away unexpectedly and they had to pay for a funeral debt or whatever 4 years ago. They tell you everything. But most of you are just not present. So if you want to get where you want to go with the vision that you've cast, you still got to live right here, and there. You got to like live in the future, but pay attention to your present. I mean, they call the present for a reason, I feel like. I mean, it's a gift to be in the day that you're living. And so I like to live. I like to experience. Somebody I had to say it yesterday. I said, I know people really feel like they know a lot about me on the internet, but I'll be totally honest with you guys. There's so much I don't share. So much. You don't know who you don't know who my best friend is. You don't know who my closest friends are. You don't know you don't know my romantic life. You don't know where I'm traveling next. You don't know my personal business that's going on unless I share it with you. Because I'm choosing and being present with you. I'm offering value to you. By doing that, it allows me to move in different ways.
Did you see Kung Fu Panda, where he's like, the past is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a gift? That's why it's called.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Panda. I won't watch it, but now I feel like I got the best quote out of it. So
just Google YouTube it. just that one part.
Just that one little quote, 30 seconds.
It's the best part. It's a little turtle. He says it. But I want to be respectful of your time because your team did like give me the, so, and I'm very respectful of people's times. So I want to end with this question. I end this question all the time on the show is like, if you could give the audience and the viewer or people watching the replay one of your most impactful, like diamond you want to drop, golden nugget that you feel they can apply today, that will impact their life from here on out to apply every single day, what would that one thing be?
Oh, geez. I can give you a million things, but I'll try to think of a couple. I don't know about one. Let's see what I can do. First of all, I would really suggest if you want to move forward in your life, and this goes for anyone, male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't make people like you. And so stop trying. You know, and that applies in so many different ways to your life. I just wish more people would be very genuine and authentic to who they are and understand that you are truly living one life. We don't know what happens after this. We don't know if we're coming back. We don't know any of this stuff. But what I do know is I wish more of you would make yourselves proud. We spend so much time trying to pacify people we don't even like, and they don't even like us. What's the point? And you're never going to find your community. You're never going to find your tribe. You're never going to find loyal fans and followers and people that will share you all over the world and people that want to follow you through the storm and through the battles and the trials and whatever, if you're not really you. And so I share, you know, I share parts of me, and I know that I am divisive for some people. And I know I say things that make people go, what in the world? Like, she said what? You know, I said some women's health stuff yesterday and people went bananas. I mean, some people were so inspired. Others were pissed off. There was one person pissed off that I know of. And I just, I'm just telling you what I know to be true to me. And maybe just open your mind a little. That's one thing I would say, is stop seeking approval from people you don't even like, or trying to impress people you don't even like. They don't even like you. They don't like you. So move on. There's plenty of people who will. I just want y'all to like you. And then I don't know, maybe one other thing I would say is I just want to remind more people the limit doesn't exist. And so what are the goals you can set today to move yourself forward in your future? What are the things that sound really nuts to you that even if you put the pen to the paper, you go, wow. Like, maybe write it down like this. I said this yesterday on a coaching call. Write down the stuff you deserve. See, that sounds crazy. People go, what? Because going back to your very first question, you were talking about worthiness. Right? What are you worth? What do you believe you deserve? Because for me, I deserve a lot. There's a reason I don't settle. A lot of you are settling in relationships. You settle in friendships. You settle in love. You settle in business. You settle in your boss. You settle in the amount of money in your bank account. I am settling for literally nothing. Nothing. There is no limit to the kind of love that I will have. There's no limit to the kinds of friendships that I will have or do have. There is no limit to the abundance that is pouring into my life. And the fact of the matter is, it's not limiting in yours either, except for if you're putting that in your head. And so if more of you can start writing down what you deserve, what you should have, what should come flying freely and flowing freely to you, maybe if you put that pen to the paper today, a lot will change about your life. Because as soon as I got very clear on what I deserve, things just started coming. So those would be my 2 little pieces of advice.
Boom, diamonds dropped freaking this whole time. I am so grateful. Thank you so much for being on Minding My Business. And hopefully you guys got to get your mind elevated, your business elevated, and this is going to elevate your life. So you are amazing. You are a powerhouse. I will save this. And I'm going to put some notes in there, but I do want to be respectful of your time because I literally have a million more questions for you, but I think this was good for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really had a great time with this conversation, and tons of blessings to you. And thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
And thank you so much. All right, you guys, till next Tuesday. We'll see you later. Remember to mind your business. Bye.